We've got something really special for y'all today. Our Stigg, we're going to do some Top Gear series with motors, props, all different kind of components for these quads. So Kane's going to be our Stigg. Y'all know him as Mad Air. He was on last year's season of DRL. He won the first big race this year at Sebring, bringing home a $10,000 purse. So he definitely knows what he's doing. So we've got the EMAX 2306, 2400 KVs. A lot of people talk really highly of those. They seem to have some reliability issues here and there, but they seem to be getting that figured out. Definitely a contender, and definitely something we want to put on this this episode. Next we have the EFAW 2407, 2700 kV, or 2800 kV, I'm sorry. Those seem to be a real big hype thing right now. I run the 2500 kV on my freestyle rigs, but the 2800 kV should be able to swing some 5-inch props pretty good for a race rig. The next one we have is another big one. This is one of my personal favorites. The Spartan motors, the 2306, 2700 kV from Sunny Sky, I believe. They are an OEM for electrified hobbies, but great motors, very, very, very powerful. They don't feel like the high kV that they are in the air, but I'll let Kane do that. And then the last one, of course, is the staple. It's the Brother Hobby Returner R4. It's the 2450 kV. That seems to be all our local pilots' favorite, so we decided to throw that in here too. It's a relatively light motor in comparison to some of these other ones, but it should definitely hold its own. All the setups are pretty much the same. They're all pretty much stretched X's. They're all running very similar ESCs, very similar tunes and all that stuff. We're going to throw Kane's rates in all of them. So it should be a pretty apples-to-apples comparison. All of them are going to be running Cyclones. And the big important thing here is that there is going to be no favoritism. Kane's not going to know which one we're plugging in. He's going to be in the hot seat under goggles. And we're going to plug in a quad. He's going to fly it. You're going to hear him talk about it a little bit. And at the end, we're going to jumble these guys up and ask him what his thoughts are on motor 1, 2, 3, and 4. And after that, we'll reveal which ones are which.
Correct. And I've never flown any of these motors. I usually stick to the Lumineers, but this is going to be a new experience for me as well. Being that I haven't had a lick of experience with any of these, so I will have no prejudgmental opinions. So it's going to be interesting to see which one comes out on top.
So pretty exciting. We've got a pretty basic course here. We should be able to duplicate this in the future, so as new motors come out and we get our hands on them, we'll be able to bring this back to you, and you'll be able to see some side-by-side footage of basically these motors against those, even though they're not done at the same time. So without any further ado, we've got all the props on here. We're going to go ahead and switch over rates to Kane's rates, and then throw them in the hot seat and plug in some quads, and we'll see how we do.
One more thing before we start, just to lay this down, this is all opinionated. This is all my opinion after I fly. So this may be different than what you see and how you feel these motors are and what your opinion on is on them. But this is how I feel. So.
Yep, your mileage may vary. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna take all the props off the quads and go through and set all of the rates to what I'm used to. So it's gonna be a fairly even playing field. That shouldn't take but a minute, so should be flying soon. All right, I'm just gonna fly around a little bit just to get a feel for the quad. All right, I guess I'll take it around now. Wasn't ready for that. Definitely smooth. 2.0. Seem to be durable. Holy moly. These things have a top end. For sure. But they honestly still feel a bit torquey, so. Definitely a smooth, consistent power. It mustn't be sagging out too much. Mustn't be pulling too many amps, because so far both of those laps, all three of them, or however many I did, they feel Pretty similar. Gotta go back for that. 1 minute. On that lap, felt a little bit more saggy, so maybe, I don't know, I may peg these as one of the higher KV. Yet they do still have some pretty decent torque. For the amount of top end, the torque is pretty manageable.
30 seconds.
If you had to guess, right now.
If I had to guess, I don't know. I don't want to guess this yet. I want to fly more than one. That way I could
Not be wrong.
correct my hypotheses.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Seems to have a pretty good top end, man.
2,
I'm impressed.
1, 0.
Alright. Alright, I think that battery's about done.
Chapter 2
Man,
there.
those are-
All right, remember, don't come out the goggles.
I won't come out the goggles, I'll come find. Oh, I feel like those are a high KV for sure. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna wait to guess until next
That's
motor.
one motor down.
All right, it's one down.
So what's up?
This is motor number 2. I'm gonna do the same thing as I did first and just kind of go around a little bit up top, get the feel for the quad. All right, here we go. These feel like, oh, I almost crashed. These feel like they have a bit more torque. But oddly, they seem like they have a faster, if not the same, top end as the other ones. I'm not... Oh my gosh, I'm having trouble with that gate for some reason. So, I'm going to comment on the battery sag so far. I feel like these have been sagging a little bit in the corners. So, whatever these are, I feel like they're pulling a little bit more amps than the other ones. I don't know for sure because I don't have an OSD, but that's just the way they feel. As far as punch, they have plenty of go and the torque is there. Oh, gosh. Gosh. I am having trouble with that gate for some reason.
30 seconds.
How's the straight line speed?
Straight line speed? Yeah, they're pulling some amps. But definitely impressive. Alright, I guess we're going to come in to the next motor.
Goggles on.
Alright, well, they're staying on. I haven't moved. It's impressive. I feel like that battery drained a little bit quicker than the other one did.
It most certainly did.
All right,
So,
stay there, Kane.
that may give me something.
All right, hold on. What was that?
That was the EFAWs. 2407, 2800 KVs. And now we're going to be doing my personal favorite, the Spartan 2306, 2700.
Don't point the camera over here, my God, bro.
Same batteries, same everything, same props, different motors. Let's see what the Stigg thinks. Ready, Stigg? Ready.
Telemetry recovered.
Good to go? Good. You recording?
Rolling.
All right. Number 3. Here we go. This is the 3rd one I'm trying. I'm gonna go ahead and take it around up top. And all right, start the straightaway. Oh my goodness.
2.0.
Jeez. This one by far has the best top end.
Best or fastest?
Fastest, I'm sorry. Definitely the fastest feeling top end. Yet it's still smooth and it feels like it has good torque. I can't really pin if this is a high kV or a low kV, which is impressive because it has qualities of both.
Thing sounds mean. Feel like your laps are faster?
I think my laps are definitely faster here. Oh, yeah, these things are pulling some amps and definitely draining some milliamp. All right, well, that was definitely the fastest I think I've gone on the track so far, as well as it is the fastest I've drained the battery. So I don't think I got 2 minutes on that, and I wasn't pegged the entire time, but I was definitely this was flying pretty hard. Those were by far, I think, the most impressive so far. They have qualities of the high kV and the low kV, which is great because usually you have to give one thing up, either torque or top speed. These seem to have qualities of both, so I'm impressed with these. They're nice. Definitely the best of the 3 that I've tried so far.
All right, you heard it.
Boss.
He was impressed.
So was I.
So what's up last?
So this is gonna be our last one. Gotta be quiet because he's right there.
All right, here I go, number 4. I'm gonna do the same stuff and take it around up top a little bit. All right, here we go. Starting from the straightaway. This one definitely feels like it has less of a top end. Yet it's pretty smooth and pretty torquey.
How's the sag?
Sag is pretty consistent on every time. I feel like these definitely don't have the top end that I felt with some of the other motors, but because there's so much smooth power at the low end, I think I'd probably be most confident with either these or the number 3s. I definitely feel like I can well, it felt good. I definitely feel a little bit more consistent with this. It turns out I feel like I don't really need all that super top end power, just because in a real race situation I don't know if I'd be able to use it quite as efficiently as I could with more torque. Usually one of the big problems with me is I just sag out in the corners. I try to pull it too hard and sag.
Alright guys, so we're all done. Matt Air's flown all of these motors, and you've heard his commentary throughout the process. So without further ado, we'll skip all the chit chat. Which one of these do you think was the first quad that you flew? If you had to guess.
after flying all of them and, you know, kind of analyzing, I think the first one that I flew was the returners.
Brother Hobbies.
Brother Hobbies.
And why do you think that?
Out of all four, I just feel like they were not so much the slowest, but I can tell they weren't quite as fast as the other ones. So, and I think these are all larger stators. So, if I were to have to choose one that I would assume is a little bit slower, it would be the smaller stator.
Okay. Okay. I feel the same way. And matter of fact, this was the first quad that you flew. So good on you for picking that out. I would have to agree. This is probably my safest quad, and it's my go-to if I know that just need to be consistent. Probably not my fastest, but definitely the most consistent. So good on you for picking that out. This was number 1, so we'll leave it here. The second motor, which one do you think was the second motor that you flew?
So for the second motor, I remember running out of battery really fast. So these are both pretty high kV, 2800, 2700. Dang, it's tough. I don't know, I'm gonna go with the EFAWs for second. The Titans. Spartans. Spartans were third, and the EMAX, because I felt like they didn't have quite as much top end and they're the lower KV. I think that was the last one I flew.
Alright, that's pretty good. Through process of elimination, I think you've gotten it. This was our second quad, the EFAW, the 2800s. They did burn through the pack pretty quickly. I haven't thrown a meter on it, but I was unplugging and replugging every quad, and this was by far the hottest battery coming down. I'm sorry to say it because these are probably one of my favorite motors, but this pack definitely came down the hottest, and you definitely complained about the sag the most and the fastest with these motors. The third quad that you flew, which is my current favorite motors for racing, is the Spartan 2306 2700 kVs. You also did mention the sag on these a little bit, and they did come down a little bit sooner than the other two lower kV options came in.
Right.
But that's kind of expected. With the higher kV, you probably aren't going to make it through packs quite as long, but you're going to carry probably a little bit bigger pack to get through a race if you need to, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Well, I mean, being that these motors push like they have a lot of torque, and they stay up high in the high end really well. I mean, for the amount of battery sag that was in there during the flight, I'm really impressed with these. They were by far the fastest and most torquey combo of the four. I'm
glad to hear it because I feel the exact same way. And then so that brings us to the last one, the Nike quad, the EMAX 2306 2400 kV. And you said that you felt most consistent with these. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
So with, alright, well, let me just go back to the Spartans. These are really fast and really torquey. I felt like when I got really fast with these and used more of the top end, I felt not out of control, but less in control.
Right.
If you know what I mean?
I get it. Easy to get away from you.
Exactly. And when I flew these, it never really got away from me. I was in control, and I was very confident with it the entire time.
So in closing, all these are really great motors. These two, the EMAX and the Returner R4s, are probably a safe bet for just about everybody. If you're on the night fluffy skill, you could probably get away with running these higher kV monster motors, but all around these are probably going to be what I would recommend to a newer pilot, even an experienced pilot. You're going to get plenty of flight time out of those. You're not going to cook batteries, and they're exceptionally fast. If you can get around an FPV racetrack at wide open throttle on any of these motors, you're a monster. So it's not necessarily about the top end per se. As usual with everything, track design is going to weigh heavily on which motors are going to win where. But I'd say the safest bet are probably going to be the Returner R4s, the 2206, 2450s, or even those EMAX 2306, 2400s.
So it sounds like you guys like 2400s for all around.
It's, I mean, with the motors I use daily, they're usually my go-to kV, 24, 25, somewhere in that range.
So
it's where it's most comfortable for me, absolutely.
Yep, I'd have to agree. I'm less seasoned than Matt Air, but I'm slowly starting to work my way towards his philosophy on needing more torque, more efficiency to make these races count, be more consistent.
Oh yeah. Finishing is just as important as being in the race.
That is right. That is right.
And Corey,
Yes, sir.
if you have one thing that you'd like to address for people who have questions about the EFAW motors,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Okay, well, there's a couple different things. The 2800 kV, especially with Kane driving them, they don't seem to be as efficient, especially as the 2500 kV that I fly on my freestyle quad. I was running 2207 motors on the freestyle quad, switched over to the 2407s, the EFAWs, and I definitely have a little bit more time, more flight time. That being said, these are the higher kV versions, and so they are going to suck the pack a little bit more. But in either case, some people have been complaining about bearings on these. They are regular EZO bearings. So just like the returner R4s that come with the EZO bearings, the newer ones, the R4s, not the R3s, those use the old NSKs. But you can get the EZO bearings from pretty much anywhere. Powerflip sells them. And they are screw bottom on the bells. So you can take the bells off, switch those bearings out pretty easily. I've already done it on a couple of my pair. And so I have nothing to complain about them. They're naked. They don't bend very easily. I've put them through a whole lot of abuse, and they're definitely stout motors. They have their place in the world, is I guess what I'm trying to say. They do awesome on 5 and 6S. Maybe 4S around a tight technical track like the one we have set up here isn't the one to necessarily highlight
Definitely a more
their
wide
characteristics.
open track.
Right.
You can take advantage of higher
So,
kV. Absolutely.
We'll have to do some more diversified testing in the future on some of these higher kV motors because this track may have been set up more for the lower kV. But that's what we run into in the real world, so it's good to know. I definitely have, this has opened my eyes to some of these motors. I expected these to do well because they're my favorite, the Spartans that is, but I didn't know how Kane was going to like them. I personally know Kane likes lower kV. He likes the torquier motors. But I felt like the Spartans had that torque down low, and it's good that I heard him mention that because we're on the same page when it comes to that. So they're kind of the best of both worlds. The only thing will be is if you can have the packs that can withstand those motors. So that's pretty much it. Spartans are awesome. The EFAWs are awesome. All these motors are great. It really just depends on your preference of flying. If you like to be a little throttle pumpy through turns and stuff like that, you may want, the lower kV. I mean, honestly, if you can carry that speed better and sweep through turns, the higher kV may be what you like. I have a smooth. I try to take a smoother route around the course. Yeah, slower than Kane, but in either case, that's why we have Kane flying them. That way you can hear his thoughts on it, because he is a lot more experienced than I am. He's a lot faster than I am. He's tested a lot more things than I have, and I trust his word more than my own. So.